Today on So Sonic, we are talking about the new 2slimey album, High Anxiety. If you like music and discussing it, make sure to like and subscribe. But thank you very much for watching. Now let's get into High Anxiety by 2slimey. Sergio Garcia, better known as 2slimey, is a rapper from Oklahoma City, and his music has been recently gaining traction due to his very highly distorted, very frantic style of hip hop. I think a lot of people tend to view 2slimey's music as more of something to gawk at rather than enjoying the music for what it is. And granted, his style of music is very super distorted to the extent where sometimes it is a bit comical. But to me, it's like listening to rage hip hop pushed to the absolute extreme limits of the subgenre that we've heard so far in its lifetime. There's a lot of Cardi influence, which I'll definitely discuss more of when we get to the track list itself. And this album is kind of reminiscent of like the Cemetery super distorted vibe. It's totally different stylistically. It's much more rage oriented than kind of like the cloud rap style that like Smoked Up 2016 and Cemetery has. But it's kind of in the same vein as the super distorted sound. And just considering all of that, I really respect 2slimey's creative courage and not really holding any bars or pulling any punches, so to speak, when it comes to his style. This album kicks off with the intro track Bring 'Em Out, which is a highly distorted, highly disorienting, kind of hyperpop influenced banger, which kind of also reminds me of Death Grips. You know, I'll bring that up a lot during this review, but a lot of the songs on this album remind me of like Death Grips and kind of like even Merzbow, where like you're listening more for the texture of the production rather than any melody or rhythm or anything like that. It's more of like kind of just being entrenched in this distortion and in this atmosphere. But the track has some super hard-hitting kicks. It mixes in different types of 808s, which gives the song different textures throughout. And this mixture of different styles of 808s is kind of continued throughout this whole entire album. With every song, there's multiple different 808 samples that are being used, and it makes for a bunch of different unique textures in all of these songs. For instance, on the song Rock, there are these moments where the whole entire mix just kind of drops out and succumbs to these entrenching 808s and their distortion, and that's all you kind of hear for a few moments. It's kind of like listening to a radio station that's going out of range, you know, where you get these like stabs of static and distortion. That's kind of how this album sounds. And then continuing with the Death Grips comparisons, the song Shoot At You opens up like a Death Grip song. Like I when I heard this, I was like, dude, I can hear MC Ride yelling over this beat right now. Next in the track list are two of my favorite songs off of this album, the first being Rolling Off Molly. It has an awesome beat. It sounds like something off of Rest in Bass by Che, which was released earlier this year, and is also an album that I really enjoyed. And after that, you have the song Pop A Lot, which is by far my favorite song off of this album. It's easily the catchiest beat. It has a lot of hyperpop influences. The leads are super awesome, very piercing, and the bass is very melodic as well. I love the 808 patterns on this song. It has great song structure. The entire song is very memorable from the beat to the hooks. It reminds me of like prime Osama-san. And continuing with these disgusting 808s throughout the album is the song In Her Jaw, where you have these dive bombing 808s that just add so much texture and life to this song. But this album is not all a distorted mess. There are some more tame cuts here in the track list, such as the song Link Up, where the 808 pattern and the simple leads make for a very catchy and memorable tune. And then there's the less distorted song produced by OK called Let's Go Home, which is probably one of the catchiest on the album, probably one of the most memorable 2slimey vocal performances. The last track of the album, Live in Bass, I feel like could have been cut. I feel like it doesn't add much to what has already been established on the album. It just seems like kind of a song that could have been thrown away. And I think the second to last track on this album, Meat, should have been the concluding song. This is one of the hardest beats on the album. There's some interesting moments. One of my favorite moments on this album, production-wise, is in this song where the beat kind of drops out, so this vocal sample can be like the only thing that's playing, and then after like half a second the beat comes right back in, cuts it off. It's a really hard production choice. But along with all the praises I've sung for this album, there are unfortunately a few drawbacks in my opinion. For one, this is a very short track list. It's a very short running album. It's only about 22 minutes long, And when you have a short album like this, there's kind of there's no margin for error. If you have a very short track list like this, you need most of the songs to be bangers, if not all of them. Songs like Livin' Bass and Shoot At You just don't jump out to me as much as the other tracks on this album. The song OMG kind of just sounds like an Osama Sun leftover, and the hook on it is one of those new choppa overdone, hooks that you've heard 1,000 times. Like, what rapper hasn't uttered the words new choppa once in their career? I also think that this album could benefit from catchier verses and hooks. It seems like 2slimey kind of has this like one note approach to all of his vocals. And his vocals do work on this album. I enjoy them. I just would prefer maybe a little bit more variety. And to build off that, this is a completely featureless album, and I feel like it could have done with a few good features, maybe from Osama Sun or any of the artists that I had listed before, maybe even Yeet. But overall, I really enjoyed this album much more than I expected to. It has crazy high distortion, very disorienting beats, very hyperpop influenced, Death Grips kind of style production. And I think this album pushes rage hip hop to an extreme that really hasn't been touched before at least by somebody as prominent as 2slimey today. So I would highly recommend this album. It's a banger. I have the banger bucket hat on to show that. And yeah, if you like rage music, if you like rage hip hop, you definitely have to give this album a fair shot. My favorite songs off this album are Pop a Lot, Let's Go Home, and Rollin' Off Molly. And my least favorites are probably Red Moon and Shoot At You. But like I said, I enjoyed this album, and I think I'm gonna give it a 75. But let me know what you think about this album down in the comments. If you like this review, make sure to like and subscribe. If you hated this review, make sure to call me stupid in the comments and subscribe to do it again next time. But thank you very much for watching, and if you want to watch my previous review, I'll have it up on the screen, probably right here or right here, I'm not too sure. But thank you once again for watching. I really appreciate it.